Hello everyone, welcome back to my astrology channel. Now today I want to talk about the Saturn and Neptune's combination or conjunction in the sign of Aries that is occurring on the 20th of Feb 2026. Now it's a rare conjunction. Now before I start my video, I just want to thank everyone for all your contribution, your likes, comments, and your subscription and all that. I'm really grateful for all your contribution, and I'm very delighted that my content is bringing value and is useful to you. Now, astrology is a great tool to create awareness, and when there's awareness, we're able to make kind of more informed decisions. Now, this conjunction that's occurring in the sign of Aries on the 20th of Feb is rare. The last one occurred in 1989. Now, 36 years on, it's occurring in the sign of Aries. Now it's occurring at 0 degree Aries, which is the starting point of any sign. You know, the degrees start at 0 degrees, and Aries is the first sign of the zodiac. So both have kind of an initiating energy, 0 degree as well as Aries. Now Saturn and Neptune together coming there is very interesting combination, because Saturn and Neptune, if you see on its own, has a kind of a contradictory nature to it. So I will discuss all the 12 zodiac signs after this intro, and will explain the effect of each of the 12 signs, how the Saturn and Neptune together, the combination, will affect each of the 12 zodiac sign. It's going to be very, very interesting. Now let's break it down. What is Saturn, what's Neptune, and what is Aries? Saturn is all about structure. Saturn is the last planet visible with the naked eyes. So with our telescope, Saturn is the last one that we can view, just, in the sky, if you look up and you know where to look. Now Saturn in astrology is all about structure. It's about boundaries. It's about limitations. It's about discipline, practicality. It is also associated with authority, not just external authority, also internal, so personal authority as well. Now Saturn rules Capricorn, which is the 10th sign of the zodiac, which rules the midheaven. Now coming to Neptune. In astrology, Neptune represents lack of boundaries. So already you can see the contradiction with Saturn, which is all about boundaries, and Neptune, which is lack of boundaries. So Neptune is lack of boundaries. It's to do with illusions. It's a hazy energy. It's a nebulous energy. The surface of Neptune is not clear. The planet Neptune itself in astronomy is not clear. And obviously astronomy is scientific, astrology is symbolic. So that's the energy of Neptune. It's unclear, it's foggy, it lacks boundaries. We don't know where we stand with Neptunian energy. It also rules our unconscious self, the subconscious. It rules our inner connectedness, our own inner world. It rules the dream state. It rules our imagination, inspiration. It rules compassion, spirituality, and all that. Now Aries, coming to Aries. Aries is the first sign of the zodiac, and it's a cardinal sign. It's a fire cardinal sign. So here Aries is all about ourself. It's the identity, the personality, our ego self. It rules the first house, so it's to do with our body image, our overall health, our life direction, our personal path, life path, and all that. Now when Saturn and Neptune together, which is kind of a contradictory energy, enters a sign like Aries, which again is contradictory to Saturn and Neptunian energy too. So all three are pretty much kind of opposing energy. All that combined together, you get a very powerful combination of all energies. So Saturn, Neptune together in Aries is going to be a lot about dissolving our past pattern, our identities that we have been associating with, and thus rebuilding and restructuring with the Saturnian energies. Now Saturn and Neptune both were briefly in Aries last year in 2025. So we have already been experiencing the energy in 2025. Now in 2026, it's back in the sign of Aries, and Saturn will be in the sign of Aries until March 2028, but Neptune will be in the sign of Aries for the next 14 years. So it's a very long transit for Neptune. So wherever your Aries sign is in your natal chart. So pull out your natal chart, go and look where the Aries sign is. That's the house matter that will be affected by this conjunction. Now, Saturn and Neptune together is forming an exact conjunction on 20th of Feb. But rest of the year as well, you will feel this energy, though it may fade away a little bit. It may not be as strong as in the first part of the year, but it's still in the same sign. Saturn and Neptune are still in the same sign, so we will still feel the energy, but the combined energy is definitely strongest in the first part of the year. Now, because it's a rare conjunction, as I mentioned before, the last one occurred 36 years ago. Here, there's an opportunity for a reset, a powerful reset to our identity and our identity associated with the house matter wherever Aries is in your chart. So you can expect a reset in the old structures, in the old systems, in society, our identity in the society as well, our identity, how we assert our identity externally as well, how we see ourselves, how we present ourselves, how we project ourselves and all that, our body image, our health, all that is going to go through a powerful reset with this combination in the sign of Aries. Now obviously Neptune is involved here and will be there for a long period of time. So we are also kind of restructuring our vision. This energy together is going to fade away any illusions, any fantasy, any idealized vision, especially the ones that are not rooted in reality, because Saturn is about structure, and also because Saturn is not just about structure, it's about reality. Is whatever your vision, ideas, plans, situation, are they rooted in reality? Does it have real world application? That's what is being tested, and everything is going through a reality check. There is no fantasy, there's no false impression anymore, no facade. All that is going to fall, and you will experience this going forward this year. So this combination is asking you to ground your reality, ground your ideas and vision into something tangible, something practical, something disciplined. If you're practical, grounded and disciplined, where your vision and ideas and whatever values, principle, faith, belief, whatever is concerned, then you will be able to build a strong foundation in the next couple of years, because Saturn will help you do that, because Saturn is not superficial. It doesn't entertain superficiality. It tests you, and it will test you. So it's important to, be disciplined and practical about whatever you are, whatever activity you're engaging in, whatever experience you want to enjoy. It's very important to be disciplined and structured and practical and be realistic as well. Then only a strong foundation will be created. And this is not just an external foundation, this is also your internal strength, your character, your integrity, how you present yourself to the world. Now, Saturn here will bring challenges, most definitely. Saturn does bring challenges. It brings obstacles, hindrances, and all that. But this is only for one reason, and that is self-mastery. So it's asking you to master yourself wherever Aries sign is in your chart, and thus you can move forward with a strong foundation. Now, as I mentioned, these three energies are contradictory: Saturn, Neptune, and Aries. They're contradictory energies, so there will be inner tension, but at the end of the day, it's important to align all these energy, balance it out, and use it to your advantage going forward. So you are turning your vision into action, your dreams into reality. You're maturing your ideas and your ideals as well, and there's a transformation occurring where your identity and your sense of self is concerned. Now let's discuss all the 12 zodiac signs and how this energy, this combination of Saturn, Neptune, will affect each of the 12 zodiac signs. So let's begin. Hello Aries, welcome to your Saturn, Neptune and Aries reading. Now Aries, Saturn and Neptune will be forming a conjunction, almost once in a lifetime conjunction. The last conjunction occurred in 1989. So this conjunction occurs in your sign, in the sign of Aries. So this is a very interesting conjunction. Now, if you want a little introduction on what this combination means, please see my introduction. But here I just want to focus on your sign and how it's going to affect you. Now, Saturn and Neptune will be conjuncting at 0 degrees Aries on the 20th of Feb. Now, the effect of this conjunction was felt in 2025 because Saturn and Neptune did together come in the sign of Aries for a little bit in 2025. Now, it's already in Feb today. It's already in the sign of Aries, but on the 20th of Feb, it will form a conjunction. And it's a very rare conjunction. Last one happened 36 years ago. So this is once in a lifetime experience, especially for you because it's happening in your sign. It's a very powerful identity reset for you, Aries. Now, first house where this combination occurs. Now, I just want to also say that the effect of this combination will be felt in 2026 as well, even though Saturn will start separating in orb from Neptune, but they are still in the same sign, so in the same house for all of us, wherever our Aries sign sits. So it will affect you in 2026 as well. It may not be as strong as it will be at the start of the year, but you will still feel the effect of this combination. I don't want to call it conjunction. Obviously, it's a conjunction in Feb, but as the year progresses, the orb will widen. So it's a combination. I want to call it a combination of Saturn and Neptune in the sign of Aries. So it's going to be very important for you this year, and even I would say next year as well, though the effect would be much less. The energy will fade away. The conjunction energy, the orb energy will, the orb will widen. So the energy will, fade away a little bit. But this year, I think as an astrologer, you will experience Saturn and Neptune combined energy in your first house. Now, first house is a house of the self. It's a house of your personality, your identity, your sense of self, your life direction, your overall health, your outlook, mindset, your perception. Just everything begins with the first house. So that's why this is a very rare, transit for you, Aries. And obviously, this is going to affect your sense of self, most definitely. Now, Aries is all about initiating. It's about jumping in head first. It's a very self-oriented sign. It's very much about the self, what suits you as a person. That's Aries energy. It's about taking action. It's about being impulsive, going forward. Sometimes, not thinking and taking action as well, not thinking of others and taking it, because it's a self-oriented sign. Aries is the first sign of the zodiac, so it's all about the self. Now here when Saturn and Neptune comes, which is very contradictory energy. Now Saturn energy, Neptune energy, and Aries, all three energies are very contradictory. So Saturn is about maturity. It's about responsibility. It's about caution. It's about, self-control. It's about being responsible and all that. On the other hand, Neptune is lack of boundaries. Saturn is very much about boundaries. It's about restrictions, structure. Neptune is lack of boundaries. It's about blurring the boundaries because it rules the unconscious self. Its rules are patterns that we are not aware of, subconscious self. It brings a sort of an emotional energy. Now, Neptune is about dissolution. It is a nebulous energy, so it's a foggy energy, so it's not firm. So it's about dissolution, confusion, can be chaotic, can be unclear, all that. So that's the Neptunian energy. Now, Aries is all about, as I said, it's a self-oriented sign. It's about taking action, moving forward. And Neptune is in the middle. It's dissolving everything. So what happens here with all this together in the first house, you may be less certain about who you are around this transit and this year as well, and also kind of next year, or your sense of self is dissolving as Neptune enters your first house. And also you may feel restricted due to this dissolution of sense of self, because Aries is all about sense of self. It's about your identity. It's about me first. And all this is dissolving, all this is feeling restricted as in 2025 and as you go along this year as well. So you may feel less certain about who you are as a person or where you're heading at first in the beginning. Obviously, Saturn is about mastering, and as the transit moves along later this year and next year, you will develop that new sense of self most definitely. And it's in your first house, so it starts a 30-year cycle, Aries, for you, because Saturn has a 30 years orbit. So it's a new cycle basically. When Saturn was in the sign of Pisces last 3 years, you were dissolving, past patterns and releasing energies that's not serving you. Now you're building something new, and this comes with challenges because it's challenging your sense of self. Now, here with Neptunian energy, you may feel more sensitive, more introspective. There's a need to be more emotionally aware as well here. So you may be less certain about who you are or where you're heading at first, as I mentioned. But again, it's about building a new identity for yourself because things are dissolving and things may feel restrictive as well. So you may be drawn to redefining yourself. Now, obviously, it's not going to come straight away. It will come as the transit, moves along, maybe later this year or next year as well. You will be drawn to building an inner strength, not as a force, but more as endurance and as, personal integrity. That's what you're looking at. You're building an inner core that's not, surface level strength. It's really inner strength. That's what you're building. And you want something real. You're becoming something real as well as the transit moves along. Now, your ego may soften as well with the Neptunian energy, or you may feel a little bit unsure of your ego self, because Aries is about ego. It's about the self. It's your ego body. In the first house, it's about your ego self, your ego body. So here, Neptune will soften it or blur the boundaries of your identity. And with Saturn here, it will restrict you or make you doubt yourself in terms of what you are or where you stand. So it's important to release any old patterns that may be stemming from impulsive reactions, or something that may also have a misplaced energy, desire, drive, or anger patterns and all that. So you're releasing all that, and Neptune here will dissolve it, hence release it, so that Saturn here can rebuild it. Here, practical boundaries are important because Neptune dissolves the boundaries, but Saturn is asking you to practice boundaries here. So here there's a combination, this kind of contradictory energies here, but this is what you are mastering basically. So it's important to pause, listen, and rebuild from inside out. Now, first house obviously rules the body. So your energy may fluctuate with the Neptunian energy and Saturn energy because, as I said, it's a contradictory energy. So your energy may fluctuate. So it's important to know your body during this time. It's important to take care of your body, your health during this time. Do not ignore your health, most definitely not, because Neptune brings confusion and it keeps things under the surface because it's a foggy energy. So you may not, realize if there are any health issues at first. So, or even if you go for, health checkup and all that, it may not show up because Neptune dissolves or blurs, it doesn't reveal. So it's important to be mindful of your health and definitely not ignore it during this period. Now, what happens as a result of this combination, this conjunction in your first house? You will form a new personal authority as a result of it. And I would say this would happen at the end of the Saturn transit in Aries, which will be start of 2028. So next 2 years, you are building this new personal authority, which is from inner strength, not just surface level strength. You're also building foundation for your next 30 years because, as I mentioned before, your 30-year Saturn cycle begins, now. So what you're seeking during this time or with this transit next couple of years and with this Neptune and Saturn energy combination, you are moving to a more authentic, more sustainable way of asserting yourself, not just impulsive or a reactive way of asserting yourself. You want something authentic and sustainable, and it's important to become more grounded. And all this at the end of it, as you master these new energies, it will bring more trustworthiness within yourself and with others, and you will be less reactive and become more intentional going forward, Aries. Thank you. Hello, Taurus. Welcome to your Saturn and Neptune in Aries reading. Now, Taurus, this combination, as I want to put it, though it's a conjunction on the 20th of Feb, it's an exact conjunction in the sign of Aries at 0 degree, which is very, very important occurrence because it's kind of a once in a lifetime in this sign. So this is very rare combination, and it is occurring in your 12th house. That's where your Aries sign sits. So this is a very rare combination, conjunction for you occurring in the 12th house. Now, the last conjunction of Saturn and Neptune occurred in 1989. That was like roughly 36 years ago. Now it's occurring in Aries. Now, if you want a little introduction of what this means together, the energy in itself, please do watch my introduction and you can understand a bit more about this combination. But here on the 20th Feb, it will form at 0 degree in Aries. So that's your 12th house. So it becomes very important energy. Now, obviously, we did feel the energy of this combination last year as well, because Saturn and Neptune were briefly in Aries, but it then retrograded. But now in Feb 2026, it's both the planets are in Aries and forming a rare conjunction. So it is affecting our Aries house. Now, this transit, as it moves along, it may not be as strong later in this year, but I think the effect will still be there because Saturn and Neptune both are still in Aries and it's still affecting the Aries house in our chart, in your chart, which is your 12th house. So you will experience, even though the energy may fade away a little bit, it will not be as strong as the start of the year, maybe the first 6 months of the year. It will fade away later, but you will still feel the energy of this combination together in Aries, in the Aries house. Even next year, I would say, even though it will be very weak energy of the combination together, but on its own, it is still affecting and it's still bringing those experiences. Now, for you, Taurus, it all occurs in your 12th house. Now, 12th house, as we know, is the house of our subconscious self. It's the house of our unconscious pattern, our hidden struggle, our hidden baggage, our fear, things we are uncomfortable with, or things that we are not even aware of. It can also be the house of withdrawing, retreating, escaping, because it's about rest. 12th house is a house of rest. It's a house of going within. It's a house of inner connectedness. And with Saturn and Neptune together in the 12th house, this is a deeply internal preparatory placement. It's a very karmic placement because Saturn brings that karmic energy. Now, karmic does not mean negative or positive. Karmic is just we receive what we put out in the world. You will reap as you sow energy, basically. So it's not positive or negative. Karma is not positive or negative. It depends on your energy, what you put out in the world, basically. So this combination in your 12th house, Taurus, is kind of preparing you, because once Saturn moves in your sign in 3 years' time, in 2028, it will begin a 30-year cycle for you. So this is a kind of a purging time. So it's a time when you're closing chapters, you're releasing past pattern, letting go of emotional, psychological, any energies that is not helping you anymore, basically. So you're releasing this. So you're closing this chapter next, couple of years. You're closing old patterns. Now, Saturn and Neptune together. Now, Saturn is about responsibility, it's about authority, it's about restriction, it's about limitation, because it wants to create a structure. It wants you to take responsibility, accountability. And Neptune is a nebulous energy. It's about dissolving patterns. It's about blurring the boundaries. So it's a contradictory energy, Saturn and Neptune. One is about boundaries, and the other is about blurring the boundaries. Now here, your old identities. Now here in your 12th house, your old identities, your fears, your unconscious patterns will dissolve, or there's a need to dissolve it. Now it is a water house. 12th house is a water house. So it's all on emotional level. This is a very deeply internal evolution. Next, this year, most definitely. Now you must have experienced this energy shift last year as well, but it really is becoming stronger now. So here, any long-standing habits of self-sabotage is coming into awareness during this time, and it's time to release or forgive and simplify as well. So you're forgiving your own patterns. It's not about forgiving others. You're forgiving yourself from the self-sabotage or hidden struggles that you may have, which you're not accepting or surrendering to. You're releasing all that. This can also be a time of withdrawal. It can be retreating from your daily life, or retreating from what you have been doing. Because the last 14 years, Saturn was transiting above the horizon for you. Now, after Saturn's transit in Aries, when it moves in your sign, Saturn will start transiting below the horizon for you. Now, what does above and below the horizon means? It means when it's above the horizon, it's from the 7th house to the 12th house, and it's below the horizon, it's from the 1st to the 6th house. So when it's above the horizon, your experience, your karma, your what you are mastering is through other people, it's through social interaction, through it's external. And from when Saturn moves in your sign, it will be more internal challenges, transformation, changes, shifts, and all that. So you are closing a 30-year cycle of changes and mastering yourself and learning about yourself and about others. Now, obviously, the next 30-year cycle begins when it moves in your sign. So here in your 12th house, this is a time to clear subconscious clutter. Here with Neptune in your 12th house, your intuition will be heightened, dreams will be vivid, and there will be a lot of subconscious processing during this time. So any old programming, especially the unconscious one, there's a need to create some sort of awareness. Any old guilt, old betrayal, grief, any challenges, or especially the ones that are self-created or hidden from yourself by yourself, you're releasing that. So you're not self-sabotaging yourself, once this transit is over, you're mastering that. So any exhaustion or stress or health issue, mental health issue may also surface, and all these need to be healed. And for that, you need to accept it first in order to heal it. You need to build awareness. If you are not creating awareness, you cannot rebuild yourself, Taurus. So that's what is important here. Your desire for solitude may increase during this time. Now, 12th house is also the house of, retreat. So, it can be long distance travel. You may move to another place for an extended period of time. Now, Neptune is in your 12th house. So it may really make you want to, retreat in terms of, it can be for spiritual advancement. It can be to just get away from stress and all that. So you may move to another place in solitude, or And all this will help you if you do decide to move away from your daily patterns and what you have been just experiencing over a period of time. You want to release that. So you may move away as well, or retreat, withdraw, uh, in order to restore, basically. So in short, there will be a desire for solitude during this time. You want to be less visible maybe for a while as well during this time. So it's important to not ignore this transit, because if you do ignore this Saturn in your 12th house, which is a time of clearing karma, the time of decluttering, baggage, old patterns. If you ignore this, this can really feel very draining and confusing. So you have to honor the healing that is being offered to you during this time. There's an opportunity to heal yourself by releasing and accepting and not self-sabotaging. So here with the 12th house Saturn and Neptune, there can be chronic stress as well. So that needs attention. Definitely you need to pay attention to your psychological health, your mental health, definitely. Now, but boundaries are essential. Saturn is about boundaries. It is about discipline, and especially around your mental health. So rest is definitely important. Don't overwork yourself. Do rest. And this is an excellent time for therapy, meditation, spiritual practices, all that. And also, as I said, long distance travel or even settlement. So if you move to another country, long distance for this 3 or 2 year period, it will be very useful, very helpful for you, because that will help you get away from old patterns, old situations, old experiences. So you are completing a long karmic cycle. You're releasing past or ancestral burden as well. 12th house is the last sign of the zodiac, is the last house of the zodiac wheel. So it's about all the burdens. The soul has traveled from the first house all the way to the 12th house. So it has accumulated a lot of karmic burdens, ancestral burdens, emotional burdens and all that. So you're releasing all that with this 12th house energy. So here you are quietly preparing for a new identity, which will be revealed when Saturn moves in your first house. So definitely here you're learning inner courage, because it is Aries sign after all. So here it's about inner courage, inner strength. You're confronting the unconscious pattern, fear, anger, all that. You're building this spiritual strength going forward. So whatever you release now is very important to your next chapter. And, it's very important for your next chapter. So overall, Taurus, it's important to slow down without guilt during this time, and prioritize your mental and emotional health, and release outdated goals, identities, and trust the ending in order to rebuild and fully embrace the new beginnings that will come post this transit. Thank you, Taurus. Hello, Geminis. Welcome to your Saturn and Neptune in Aries reading. Now, Geminis, Saturn and Neptune will be forming a conjunction on the 20th of Feb 2026 in the sign of Aries, which is your 11th house. Now, this is a once-in-a-lifetime conjunction. The last one occurred in 1989. So this conjunction is quite rare and will not occur in Aries in a lifetime. Now, this is a very interesting conjunction. Now, if you want to know a little bit more about the effect of this combination, please watch my introduction where I have explained the energy of Saturn and Neptune together in Aries. Now, here for you, Geminis, this occurs in your 11th house in the sign of Aries at 0 degrees. And obviously the exact conjunction is on 20th of Feb. But the effect of this conjunction was felt in 2025 as well, when Saturn and Neptune were briefly together in the sign of Aries in your 11th house, but then it retrograded back. But now in Feb 2026, it's back in Aries, and you will experience this energy for the rest of the year as well. Even though it may not be a conjunction in a tight orb, both the planets are still in the sign of Aries and is affecting that Aries house for us. So it will be still affecting. So you will experience the energy of Saturn and Neptune combination in your 11th house for the rest of the year, though the energy is strongest in the first half of the year. But you will experience rest of the year, and I will also say next year, though the energy will be much less. But definitely it's the strongest now with this conjunction. So all this occurs in your 11th house. Now, 11th house is the house of our aspiration. It's a very aspirational house. It's our gain through others in terms of our community, our social circle, group activity, teamwork, group project, our association, alliances, and all that. So the gains, the profit that we experience by fitting in, by collaborating, by working with others, basically. So these are your hopes and wishes, your long-term vision through others. This is not a Leo house where the gain is through yourself. This is an Aquarius house, 11th house. So these gains come through other people, through your social situation, through your community, through your friends, all that. So here, whatever happens in 11th house is about community. It's about social circle. It's about your future visions and long-term goals. So here, the reset that you will experience with the Saturn and Neptune energy in your 11th house, this is a very social reset. It's a very aspirational reset. So there is a powerful shift in your social situation, your community, your social circle, and also your vision for the future, your aspiration, all that. You want at the end of this transit, which I would say you will experience the effect. You experienced this last year, and you will experience this year as well, and a little bit next year as well. But you would have mastered this by the end of, or even by mid this year. You would have mastered this, though challenges may still be arising, because Saturn still will be in your 11th house until March 2028. So you will still be experiencing these challenges in 11th house matter. So here, what you are resetting or shifting or you're changing is your clarity about your future, your vision, your aspiration, where you are heading. That's what you are clarifying within yourself, most importantly. So your idea of where you're going and also who you're going with, because it is, as I said, it's a communal house. It's a house of your social circle. So not just where you're going, but who are you going with gets a reality check, basically. So any ideals, fantasies around 11th house matter will dissolve, which means your fantasy, your ideals, also self-deception, because Neptune brings that deception energy or confusion or chaos, mental chaos. Its 11th house is natural Aquarius house, so it's mental energies. So this means less fantasy and more purpose. Now, Saturn here brings lessons around your social circle, your community, your friend circle, your collaborative effort, your teamwork, your how you fit in. Saturn is bringing lessons here, and this is only so that you can build this inner strength, because Saturn wants you to build inner strength, and this is by what you put out. Saturn is karma, and karma is not good or bad. Karma is just cause and effects. As you sow, so shall you reap energy. Literally, karma, Saturn is that. So it's not good or bad. Karma does not mean negative energy. It's whatever you're putting out, you will receive back. Now here, your social circle may shrink or may deepen, because Saturn restricts. It literally eliminates clutter. That's what will happen over the next 2 years. Your friend group, your social circle, your community will shrink, and you will only align with connections that is truly aligned with where you're heading or where you want to go. Now, obviously, Saturn's lesson is never easy, and there may be challenges, and that comes from restricting yourself from growing, basically, or resisting the change. So Saturn wants to build something strong. It wants you to build a legacy wherever it goes. and resisting change only brings more challenges. So it's important to connect with like-minded people. And with Neptune energy, this confusion, deception can be from others to you or from you to others. Maybe both sides are not seeing each other clearly. And that's where misunderstanding, miscommunication, disappointment, and all that occurs because the boundaries are not clear. And that is on both sides. So there can be disappointments with your social circle, your communities, and all that. So it's important to refine your values. It's also important to understand who actually belongs in your future, because this is the time to rebuild that. Now, Saturn wants you to decide what is achievable, and Neptune wants you to decide what is meaningful. So Saturn wants you to make things achievable, and Neptune wants you to make things meaningful. So you're hoping for a social situation that is meaningful and growth oriented, that brings growth. Now, 11th house is also the house of long-term goals. So here the long-term goals will get structured. So if you have any unrealistic dreams or any pipe dreams about your life, that will fade away, most definitely. Here, it's important to be authentic where your vision is concerned. It's very important to not deceive yourself with unrealistic expectations and unrealistic dreams about your aspirations. It's important to ground yourself in reality, and Saturn will make you do that. If you resist Saturn's energy, you're only bringing challenges in your life, and it's not going to help you grow. Now, here it's important to be selective with your social circle as well. So you may start a new project, or you may connect with a new group or form new association, form new alliances that will help you, grow, and you will find meaningful support system as well, because the social structure you are hoping to get is something that is fulfilling, something that's meaningful, and something that is connects with where you're heading, basically, Geminis. So it's very important to not move impulsively. Aries energy is very impulsive. So you may be forming friendship or joining social situation impulsively without looking into if it's good for you or not, or if you are good for them or not. So both ways. So here you are not taking action from a reactive or impulsive state of mind. You are taking action from more, from integrity, honesty, accountability, and inner strength. These are the basis of your long-term goals going forward, Geminis. So overall, Geminis, this is the time when you will let go of friendship that confuses or drains you, or social situation that confuses or drains you. Also, you will choose more depth over popularity during this time. It's important to build these long-term plans slowly, align your goals with meaning, not hype, and also lead where your values are strong, not just be carried away with what looks shiny, Geminis. Thank you. Hello, Cancer. Welcome to your Saturn and Neptune in Aries reading. Now, Cancer, the Saturn and Neptune conjunction occurs in the sign of Aries, which is your 10th house, on the 20th of Feb. Now, this is a once-in-a-lifetime conjunction. The last one occurred in 1989, and this time it's in the sign of Aries. So it is a very rare conjunction, because we will not experience this conjunction again in the sign of Aries or in our Aries house in our lifetime. So very rare conjunction. Now, all this occurs, as I mentioned, on the 20th of Feb. That's the day of exact conjunction at 0 degrees Aries. But the energy of this conjunction, or combination as I prefer to call it, was felt last year as well in 2025, but then both the planets retrograded. But now they're back in the sign of Aries in Feb 2026. And this combination will be in Aries for the rest of the year and next year as well, though the energy will fade away because they are moving apart from each other. But even then, Both planets are still in Aries and it's still affecting the Aries house in your chart. Now, this conjunction occurs in your 10th house, Cancer. Now, 10th house, as we know, is a very public house. It's the house of your reputation, your public image, your professional matters, your business matter, career, your vocation. It's a very external house. Now, Saturn and Neptune together in the 10th house, which is, at the top of the chart. It's the 10th house is the midheaven, where the midheaven is. So it's at the top of the chart. So here, this combination in your 10th house makes it a very visible, very public, and very consequential placement. There are consequences to this placement because it's the house of your reputation. So what you do here or what you sow here is reaped in a very public manner. So whatever you put out will come back to you in a very public, very visible way. So you cannot hide the consequence for the next 3 years as Saturn moves through your 10th house, Cancer. So whatever you're putting out, it will have a very public repercussion. Now, this is the house of your career, reputation, and life direction. So all these energies are resetting. It's a powerful reset. Your public role is being redefined. So the image, the career, the business, the profession, your life direction, all that is going through a massive reset. So here, any aspiration or dreams or visions you may have had of success or your idea of success, recognition, and authority, all this gets a reality check. So here with the Neptune energy, here in your 10th house, your ambition may dissolve or may transform into something more authentic, more sustainable. Now, Neptune obviously blurs the boundary while Saturn wants to build boundaries. Saturn is about limitations. So here there may be a lot of limitations around your career matters, or there may be a lot of obstacles and hindrances around your public image, reputation, your career, professional business, authority, personal authority, external authority, all that. So what's happening here with these two energy is Saturn is asking you to rebuild whilst Neptune is dissolving old patterns here. So you're rebuilding as you dissolve old energy. So all this, so here Neptune and Saturn together wants you to build something that is authentic and sustainable in the long run. Now, this will help you align your career and reputation with meaning, with purpose, not just status, not just external status, but internal authority as well. So it's not just the external authority that you're seeking, or Saturn will help you, acknowledge that. You're also seeking, or you should seek, internal authority, something that is built out of character, inner strength, and all that, Cancer. So there will be shift in career paths, and it may also blur or dissolve what you have been doing. So whatever you've been doing until now will get a reality check and will need changing going forward. Now, your old definition of success will stop motivating you. You may feel unsure of your direction as well. So anything empty or misleading in your career or public image will be exposed because, as I said, it's a very consequential house. It's a very consequential placement. And Saturn in the 10th house, which is naturally ruled by Capricorn, is its own sign. Saturn rules Capricorn, and in the 10th house, it's very much in its house. It's very much at home in 10th house. So here Saturn wants you to build character in your reputation and career, not just surface level. So as it's a very consequential house, because it's a very visible house, whatever you put out, you get back, you receive back in a very public way. So it's important to be more sure of where you're heading and bring meaning to what you're doing, basically. Anything that is empty or misleading in your career or public, as I've mentioned, will be revealed, will be exposed, will be very much out in the open. So with this combination in your 10th house, you may appear less rigid, more compassionate going forward, or there's a need to be less rigid and more compassionate. So it's important to bring that compassionate energy where your aspirations are concerned, basically. And also, it's important to be clear on your boundaries, because Neptune will dissolve boundaries. It will make your image a little bit unclear to yourself and to others as well. So it's important to not curate your image. It's important to lead with authenticity and not form an image based on deception or based on confusion or chaos or drama. It's important to be very it's important to build that strength from within, and Saturn here will definitely help you reap the rewards of your past effort uh, with this energy. So if you take responsibility and do things in a meaningful and responsible way, you will definitely receive the rewards in a very positive and very fulfilling manner going forward. Now, Saturn here ensures whatever you're building next is real, earned, and lasting. And it's very important. With Saturn energy in the 10th house is a Capricorn energy. It's about inner strength. Capricorn is very, about building a legacy. So here, whatever you're building, Cancer, needs to be real, needs to be earned, and needs to be enduring. And if it's not, it may wither away. So you will be taking these courageous steps towards a new professional identity. You will be claiming authority or building a reputation in a way that feels honest, not performative. It's very important, Cancer. It needs to be grounded in reality. Now, there may be a sense of uncertainty around career and professional matters or reputation as well. And you may feel emotionally heavy as well with this Neptunian energy. So you may question your worth as well, or question your reputation, or question your visibility as well, because Saturn is bringing you lessons. So it's important to appreciate that, acknowledge that, and take accountability for what you're putting out. So it's important not to tie your security or associate your security or your reputation to external validation. It's all about inner authority. You are developing this external recognition through inner authority, through inner strength, through inner character, basically. Once this is achieved, you will be building a reputation of integrity, compassion, and quiet leadership. So overall, Cancer, with Saturn and Neptune both in your 10th house, outdated ambition will dissolve. You will be redefining your idea of success. And all this will be built slowly, but very visibly. So it's important to choose meaning over prestige. Cancer, thank you. Hello, Leos. Welcome to your Saturn and Neptune in Aries reading. Now, Leos, Saturn and Neptune will be forming a conjunction, and this is a once-in-a-lifetime conjunction, as the last one occurred in 1989. So this is a rare conjunction in the Aries house in our chart. Now, it's a very interesting conjunction. So if you want to know a little bit more about this combination in Aries, Saturn and Neptune in Aries, please watch my introduction. Now, Leos, this conjunction occurs at 0 degrees Aries on the 20th of Feb. Now, the effect of this combination was felt in 2025 because Saturn and Neptune were briefly in Aries in 2025, but then they retrograded. But now in Feb 2026, they're back in the sign of Aries, and on 28th of Feb, they will form a conjunction at 0 degrees, which is very rare. Last one, as I mentioned, happened 36 years ago. Now, this transit, as it moves along rest of the year, will still be felt, even though the energy may not be as strong as it will be in the first half of the 2026. But I would say the combination is still there. Saturn and Neptune are still transiting through Aries and in our Aries house. So it will still be felt. Now, Aries is your 9th house. Now, 9th house is the house of our belief system. It's a house of our faith, higher learning, purpose, life direction, our perception, and all that. So Saturn and Neptune together in ninth house brings a philosophical and spiritual reset, Leos. So here you are reshaping how you see the world and your place in it as well. Now, ninth house is to do with higher learning. It's to do with experiences that are unknown to us. So energies that we have not experienced before. It's a house of traveling as well. It's a house of different cultures different from us, religion different from us, philosophies different from us, direction, guidance, anything that is different from what we have experienced growing up or until now. So here, Leos, with Saturn and Neptune transiting through your ninth house, you're reshaping your worldview. You're reshaping your belief system. Saturn here will give you a reality check of your belief system because you're experiencing something new. You're seeing a new world. Maybe you are connecting with people who are very different from you, and you're seeing a completely different side. This could be, your beliefs, your ideas, all that may change as you connect with a different set of people, or you may be learning something new. So your philosophy, your beliefs, your ideas may change due to that. So whatever that might be, Leo's old beliefs and ideas, philosophies and all will change or will get a reality check. And also old patterns in these areas will dissolve because you're seeking meaning now. You want a well-rounded experience. You are not making choices or making moves based on limited experience. You are going out and experiencing a wilder world experience, people as well. Even if you're not traveling, you may be learning something new, or you may be interacting with kind of people you have never interacted before, or you may be learning something. So whatever that might be, this is all about dissolving old ways of believing or thinking or valuing whatever that was, and evolving from that. And so basically all this is dissolving so that you can build something meaningful going forward. Now, Saturn energy is a restrictive energy. It wants you to build inner character, inner strength. So here with the ninth house, which is your belief system and your faith and the purpose and how you see the world, your worldview and all that, you are building character here. So you're leaving anything that was superficial, and you're building character going forward. And Neptune helps you find meaning and compassion as you explore new ideas and belief systems and all that. So here you are ready to expand your horizon, your mental, spiritual, philosophical horizon through lived experience, through lived truth, not just borrowed knowledge. Here you learn through experience. Now, Saturn here will build this inner character, this integrity, honesty, responsibility, accountability in your action, in your belief system, in your philosophies and all that, in your viewpoint and all that. So here you may be committing in your philosophies and all that. Now, ninth house, as I mentioned before, is also the house of higher education. So you may be committing to a study program here or a spiritual practice going forward. Now, it may not come easily because Saturn is a restrictive energy. So there may be some obstacles before you can start a study program or training program or practice, whatever that might be. Initially, they may be, but you have to persevere and, be disciplined and organize yourself in order to learn whatever new experiences that you want to experience and learn whatever new things that you want to learn. It's important to stay disciplined, and and Saturn will bring some sort of serious study or training. Now, it can also bring teaching as well, sharing your knowledge, teaching others, counseling, coaching, and all that, mentoring others as well. So here, definitely, you're turning your inspiration into expertise. That's what Saturn energy in the ninth house is. You're turning your experience, inspiration, your knowledge, your beliefs, philosophies, whatever that might be, into expertise in order to share it with the world, in order to advise, mentor externally to others. Now, Neptune here will add imagination and compassion to the practice or whatever mentoring work or counseling work or whatever you are teaching and whatever you are advising or whatever you're sharing. Neptune adds imagination and compassion. But just be mindful, Neptune is a dissolving energy, and so it can bring some confusion as well. But Saturn here will bring some boundaries as well. So it's a though it's a contradictory energy in ninth house, it can make you it can make you want to have a second look at what you are learning, or the new belief system you're exposing yourself to, or the new philosophies you're exposing yourself to. Here Saturn will help you ground your reality, ground whatever you are engaging in during this time. Now obviously ninth house is a house of traveling as well, so travel is very purposeful, very meaningful, and not just an escape. So this can be tied to a study or service or some sort of spiritual development, whatever that might be. Definitely travel is kind of crucial as well. Now it may again come with some sort of obstacle as well, because Saturn does restrict wherever it goes, but it's important to experience new energies, if it comes through travel, new cultures, new people. It's great to do that as well. Now, as I mentioned before, you will be breaking away from past beliefs, inherited beliefs, past conditioning and all that, and you will be asserting your own truth courageously. So you are very courageous in what you believe and your truth, what your experience is, and you're sharing that from your personal truth, your own experience. You're also redefining your sense of purpose, because your worldview is stabilizing and you're speaking from humility and authority. So you may be publishing a book as well, because ninth house is a house of publication. So maybe you are working on something and you will publish it as well going forward. And it's great to do that, because this Saturn and Neptune here really brings so much knowledge and structure and a meaning and inner strength and character. And if you combine all that with your beliefs, your philosophy, what you're learning, what you're teaching and all that, this is a great time to really share that knowledge as well. So again, Saturn here will help you develop a backbone for your future leadership and visibility, because when Saturn goes in your 10th house in Taurus in 2028, that's the time when everything will be visible, will be very external, and will be out there for others to see. So overall, Leos, here with Saturn and Neptune together in your ninth house, it's important to question beliefs without fear, and also commit to a practice or philosophy or some sort of study in order to grow, and do choose meaning over certainty. So choose unknown over known, basically. And also teach what you have learned and what you have experienced, what you have lived. And all this, and this together, Saturn Neptune combination, will help you become more mature in your philosophy, in your beliefs, in your ideas, and more compassionate as well as you share these with the world. Leos, thank you. Hello Virgos, welcome to your Saturn and Neptune in Aries reading. Now Virgos, Saturn and Neptune will be forming a conjunction, and this is once in a lifetime conjunction, as the last one occurred in 1989. So it's a rare conjunction, and it occurs in the Aries house in our chart. So this is not going to happen again in our lifetimes. Now, this is a very interesting combination, Saturn and Neptune together. And if you want to know more about it, please do watch my introduction when I explain more about this combined energy. Now, this conjunction occurs at 0° Aries on the 20th of Feb. So the conjunction will be strongest around that time. Now, obviously, Saturn and Neptune were briefly together in Aries in 2025 as well, but then they retrograded. So we have been experiencing this energy since 2025 and will be experiencing this year as well, though it will be strongest in the beginning of the year, the first part of the year. Saturn and Neptune will still be in Aries this year and also next year, but the energy will fade away because the orb of influence between Saturn and Neptune will widen. So you won't feel the energy as strong, but it's still in the same sign. So the combination is still there. You will still experience, the experiences will still come through the Aries house. Your Saturn experience and Neptune experience will be coming through the Aries house. So you will still experience this. Now, it is a very rare conjunction. As I mentioned, the last one occurred 36 years ago. So here, this is a great time to understand this energy, especially in your Aries house. Now, for you Virgos, this happens in the 8th house. That's where your Aries sign sits. So here you will experience the Saturn and Neptune combination through the 8th house matter. Now, 8th house is a very deeply psychological house. It's to do with our emotions, intense emotions. It's about shared values, shared resources. It's about material aspect as well, especially the unearned material security. So here, Saturn, Neptune together in your 8th house will bring this deep psychological, emotional, and material restructuring. So this will force clarity and structure with things where things have been unclear, entangled, or even avoided. Now, Neptune here will dissolve boundaries. Now, it is a house of shared resources, shared finance, other people's finance, social finance, spousal finance, all that. So here, Neptune will blur the boundaries here, and Saturn is asking you to build some structure. Now, Saturn and Neptune are contradictory energy. One is asking you to build structure and take responsibility, while the other is, making things unclear and, is dissolving. So there are no boundaries here. And Neptune can create confusion as well. So it can kind of create a false sense of security, material security with Neptune energy. So it's very important to use a Saturnian energy here in your 8th house, Virgos, to build that strength where your finances are concerned. Now, shared resources, intimacy, power dynamics, emotional dependence are all in focus here. So with Saturn and Neptune together, this can help you dissolve illusions and also any fear related energies as well. So if there are any financial anxieties, you need to be careful of that as well, because Saturn here is asking you to take responsibility, accountability regarding your finances. And there may be a lot of dependency, financial dependency on others as well, emotional dependency as well, because it is a natural Scorpio house. So it's a water sign. So it brings that emotional dependency, and thus can also bring power dynamics, power struggle where finances are concerned. So it's important to really see through the illusions and really build boundaries. It's very crucial where your finances are concerned. Build boundaries. If it's with your spouse or other people, it's important to have a kind of a structure in your finances here, Virgos. Now, Saturn here is asking for a mature transformation. Now, transformation always is mature, but what it's saying is to go beyond confusion, not bring chaos or drama where your 8th house matters are concerned. So be mature about your solutions here. And it is the house of intimacy. It's a house of emotional intimacy. So relationships will deepen here or can even end if they are not based on honesty. So it's very important to be honest with your partner and with yourself as well. Now here with Neptune in your 8th house, this can make you idolize your partner as well. So it's important to be very clear about that. Now Saturn will help you fade those idealization, fade those confusion away, but it's a combination. So it depends which part, which side you're on, which energy you're more inclined to use, because some of us are more Neptunian and some are more Saturnian. We are more careful. Some of us are more cautious and careful, and some go with the flow. So depends on your natal chart, how you are natally, will affect this combination in 8th house, definitely. So whether you are idolizing your partner, or you're idolizing your financial situation, or you're not idolizing your financial situation, will depend on your natal, your chart, your own conditioning, how you are, your behavior and all that. But Saturn and Neptune together can dissolve illusions as well in order to rebuild. And it does come with challenges, but that's what this transit is about, to overcome these challenges and bring and build a strong foundation going forward. Emotional merging is great, but it really requires clear boundaries. Now, true intimacy comes with accountability. If it does not come with accountability, there's a false sense of security here. The intimacy that comes with 8th house can bring false sense of security if there is no accountability and boundaries and responsibilities and all that. Now, Saturn demands structure. So if there are loans, tax, debts, anything that need attention, this is a great time to, find solution there as well. Any financial entanglement must be clarified, and any dependency patterns, whether it's emotional, financial, will be revealed, definitely, Virgos. Now, with Neptune here, there's a need to align your money exchanges, your financial exchanges, with trust and ethics. And obviously, there needs to be some meaning to it, some purpose to what you are doing. And it's important to, not self-deceive yourself as well with any false sense of financial ideas, money ideas, and all that. So be grounded. That's very important. Now, 8th house is the house of transformation. It's a house of regeneration, transmutation. So any fear, trauma, guilt, shame, any past energies, this is a powerful time to release that as well, because this can be a powerful period of therapy and healing as well, because you're releasing long held fears around control issue, because Scorpio is a fixed sign, 8th house is a fixed house. So any control issue, and also any impulsive or reactive behavior around 8th house matter, around finances, because it is all happening in the sign of Aries. So if you have any control issues, or any sort of impulsivity in your financial, how you manage your finances and all that, that needs to be released in order to transform with honesty, Virgos. So it's important to face any hidden issues directly. And also the action that you take, it must be taken with honesty. It's very important. And boundaries, definitely. Now, Saturn and Neptune here will also help you claim your personal power without domination, because Neptune is not about domination. Neptune is about finding meaning, being compassionate, and accommodating. Neptune is an accommodating energy, but Saturn here definitely wants you to acknowledge that there's a need for boundary as well. Otherwise, there can be a lot of deception and illusions around finances. So you need to be brave, but yet vulnerable as well where finances are concerned, and build capacity for trust and expansion in relationship and resources as you go along. So overall, Virgos, with Saturn and Neptune transiting your 8th house, there will be clarity around financial matters, around emotional matters, and there's a need to release control and earn trust and build relationship and intimacy based on trust, and the transformation that comes with this two planetary energies in your 8th house needs to be intentional going forward, Virgos. Thank you. Hello, Libras. Welcome to your Saturn and Neptune in Aries reading. Now, Libras, Saturn and Neptune will be forming a conjunction, and this is once in a lifetime conjunction. The last one occurred in 1989. So, this is a rare conjunction in the Aries house this time because that's where the conjunction is occurring. Now, it's a very interesting combination, Saturn, Neptune in Aries. So, if you want to know more, please do watch my introduction, and you will be able to understand a little bit more about this energy together, this combined energy. Now, the conjunction occurs on the 20th of Feb at 0° Aries. So it's a very important initiating kind of energy because 0° is the starting point and Aries is the first sign of the zodiac. So it's a very important degree. Now, in 2025, Saturn and Neptune were briefly in Aries, but then they retrograded back. So we have been experiencing this energy last year as well. And now this year as well, you will experience this, though it will be strongest in the start of the year, the first part of the year, as the conjunction occurs on 20th of Feb. But Saturn and Neptune will still be in the sign of Aries and will be still affecting your Aries house. So the energy will still be there this year, even though the energy may fade away a little bit. And also next year, though the energy may be really not as strong as it is now, but they are still in the same house, in the same sign. So you will experience the Saturn in Aries and Neptune in Aries energy, definitely. Now, for you Libras, all this occurs in your 7th house because you're opposite sign to Aries. So this is very crucial for you. Now, 7th house is the house of relationship and partnership. So these are the matters that will be, affected with this combination. Now, Saturn is rising above the horizon for you. So the next 14 years, your experiences will be through other people. Now, Neptune will be in your 7th house for next 14 years, and Saturn will be there for the next couple of years. And then it moves to the 8th house in 2028. This energy is strongest for you in your relationship house. So here, Libras, relationship, partnership, contracts, one-to-one dynamics, all that is in focus. And this is a very fateful placement for this transit because it's all about your experience learned through other people. This is not about yourself now because it's not the first house energy. It's not your identity. It's your relationship dynamic, how you see relationship, your own idea of relationship. All that is getting reality tested here. So anything that you experience through other people, is going through a reality check. Now, Neptune here brings illusions, projections, and all that. So if you have been experiencing or you are experiencing, and you may also experience in future because Neptune is still there going forward, illusions, projections, and any wishful thinking around partnership, around relationship needs to be dissolved. Otherwise, it will only cause illusions, deception, chaos, drama going forward. Now, Saturn here does bring committed and mature relationship, definitely, or it can end relationship as well. Now, and all this can happen quietly because Saturn is not a Martian energy. It's not impulsive. It's not reactive. Saturn is quite Saturn is very cautious energy, very restrictive energy. So a relationship here either can become committed and mature and grounded in reality, and if it's not grounded in reality, they will end. Now, it's important to learn the difference between ideal love and real partnership, Libras. It's very important for you to understand this because Neptune is moving through your partnership house for the next 14 years. And in order to avoid deception in partnership, in relationship, in marriage and all that, or have a false sense of partnership or relationship, false sense of security in relationship and all that, it's very important to understand the difference between what is love, what is real love, and what is idealized idealized love. So, what is reality and what is fantasy? It's very important to make that difference. So, don't idealize your partners during this time. Now, if you do idealize your partners, you will be disappointed, definitely, with the Neptune energy. Neptune can also blur the boundaries, so here this can feel very heavy because with the illusions and disappointments, you may have the tendency to see partnership or partners through rose colored glasses. It's important to take these rose colored glasses, and Saturn here will help you do that because Saturn is structure. It's grounded in reality. So Saturn will help you build these boundaries because you are looking, or Saturn wants to give you these serious commitments that is grounded, that is grounded in honesty, responsibility, and true partnership, basically. Now, this is the house of all kind of partnership, so it can be business partnership as well. So if you are starting a business or getting into a business partnership with someone, it's very important to have boundaries because, again, you can be disappointed by any partnership or even the business ones, or any contracts you're signing, any agreements you're signing, anything of that sort. Libras, it's important to it's important to stay objective and not get carried away. You may be seeking serious commitment. The commitments that may come your way, or relationship that may come your way, may not be the full picture. So you need to be honest with yourself. Now, it is the seventh house. Now, seventh house is all about balance. It's about harmony and all that. So here you are defining what equality means, what fairness means, what justice means, what balance actually means to you. You're learning discernment in love and relationship, and you're not compromising at your own expense, or you should not compromise at your own expense, because with the Neptunian energy here, and Saturn also brings lessons. So these illusions or disappointments that may or may not comes with a lesson. So it's important to be self-aware and not ignore red flags, basically, Libras. Now, seventh house is the house of legal agreements as well, business partnership, marriage, commitments, all that. So Saturn here wants you to experience those on a serious level. So any vague promises will no longer work, most definitely not. Saturn does not do vague. Even though Neptune energy creates that illusion, Saturn does not do unclear, confusing, energies. Saturn is structure. It's very disciplined energy. So vague promises is not going to work with this combined energy. And also, there's a need to have clear roles and expectations in partnership. Now, Neptune dissolves anything built on avoidance or fantasy here. And especially this combination, Saturn, Neptune together, will dissolve any partnership that's built on avoidance or fantasy. So it's important to speak up even if it disrupts harmony during this time. Do not hold back. Speak your truth, Libras, definitely. And don't avoid any relationship conversations, any conflict. Don't avoid conflicts during this time. Now, Libras, you may have a natural tendency to avoid conflict, but you can still have a meaningful conversation, honest conversation, in order to avoid future disappointments. So definitely do not avoid conversations just to keep the peace. Now, claim your needs directly here as well, and also balance it with others here. It's important to build a healthy sense of self within the relationship. Now, obviously, it's Aries energy. It's important not to be impulsive or reactive as well, and build inner strength as you deal with relationship of any sorts. So Libra, at the end of the day, what you're learning with this combination in your seventh house is peace does not come from appeasing others. So you need to let go of people-pleasing nature if you have those. And it's important to bring authenticity in relationship, and boundaries must be respected. So overall, Libras, with Saturn and Neptune combination, in your seventh house, it's important to choose honesty over just keeping the peace. And it's important to really clarify any expectations early on and release the savior and rescuer roles in relationship, and also assert your needs calmly and build a lasting relationship, which Saturn here with Neptune will help you build these lasting, meaningful relationships. So as the Saturn transit progresses, which is the next couple of years, you will have a meaningful relationship, a lasting one, which is built on strong mutual foundation, Libras. Thank you. Hello, Scorpios. Welcome to your Saturn and Neptune in Aries reading. Now, Scorpios, Saturn and Neptune will be forming a conjunction, and this is once in a lifetime conjunction. The last one occurred in 1989, and this conjunction occurs this time in Aries. So it's a once in a lifetime in the Aries house in our chart. So here, now this is a very interesting combination, Saturn, Neptune together. And if you want to know a little bit more about it, do watch my introduction. So this time in Aries, this conjunction is occurring at 0 degrees Aries, which is the starting point. 0 degree is the starting point, and Aries is the first sign of the zodiac. So it's a very resetting kind of energy wherever your Aries sign sits in your chart. And for you Scorpios, it sits in your 6th house. So 6th house matters are at the forefront during this time. Now, Saturn and Neptune were briefly together in Aries in 2025 as well, and then it retrograded back. So we have been experiencing this energy since last year, and this year again we will experience this energy. Now, obviously, it's strongest during the conjunction, but it's still in the same sign. Saturn and Neptune are still transiting through Aries and in our Aries house. So the combination is still there, and I would say we will still experience the energy this year, though it may fade away a little bit later in the year. The orb between Saturn and Neptune is widening later this year, so it may not be as strong as it is in the first part of the year, but we still will be experiencing this transit as the year progresses. Now, obviously, this is a very strong combination, and as I said, it's a rare combination, last one being 36 years ago. All this is occurring in your 6th house. Now, Scorpios, 6th house is the house of your daily activities, the house of your daily work, routines, your health, service. It's a house of your job, your work condition, your colleagues, your work environment. It's a house of also conflict and competition as well. It's a house of your productivity and usefulness. And Saturn is moving through this house along with Neptune and forming a strong conjunction, which triggers powerful reset in your 6th house matter. So here the changes that come about with this combination will be very practical and should be very practical because Saturn is there after all. So here a lot of discipline is required. There's a need to bring discipline to your ideals, to your vision, to your daily activity, to your habits, routines, schedules, work, job, environment. Health, very important. 6th house is the house of our physical health, but overall well-being as well. So here it's very important to be very serious and disciplined about these things. So your day-to-day life is being restructured, and you're aligning with a deeper purpose, basically around your daily life, your habits, around your health as well, your productivity, how you organize your life and all that. Now, Neptune in the 6th house will dissolve illusions around your work, health, and service, and your acts of service, how you, how do you produce, how you give to others and all that, Scorpio. Neptune will dissolve any illusions or any disappointments or any, false ideas around work, around health. And also Saturn here demands practical, sustainable action around your daily life, work, health, and all that. So here with this combination of Saturn and Neptune together in your 6th house, you're turning your vision, your dreams into routines. and thus you are achieving going forward. So here you may feel a little bit uncertain about your current job or role, or just what you're doing basically in daily life, your productivity as well, your usefulness and all that. You may feel uncertain or unsure about it because Neptune brings that uncertain and unsure energy around your sixth house matter. Also with your colleagues, your work environment and all that, there may be confusion or uncertainty or illusions, or it can be draining as well, because Neptune can be mentally draining. It affects our well-being. So with Saturn here, there's need for boundaries, definitely. Though Neptune will dissolve boundaries, because Neptune is not about boundaries. It's about blurring the boundaries. But Saturn here is asking you to structure yourself and build those boundaries. Now, Saturn in the sixth house is actually a very good transit, because Saturn is structures and resets and disciplines you. And sixth house, where work and health is concerned, it's going to help you discipline your work. It's going to help you discipline your health matters. If you have any health plan, diet plan, workout plan, whatever that might be, it will help you achieve that. So here, it's important to set realistic goals and commit to a daily practice, whether it's work, habits, whatever that might be, whatever you want to do. It's important to set realistic goals. And if work feels draining, confusing, or uninspiring or unfulfilling, there's a need to bring some sort of structure in order to move forward, obviously. Now Saturn here can bring changes in job or work environment, or just what you do on a daily basis. It doesn't have to be change in job. It's just maybe you're doing a job in a different area, or or there's a change in colleagues or work condition, whatever that might be. There can be some sort of shift, or there can be challenges as well. Saturn brings challenges. So there can be need to take responsibility, accountability, and be realistic, because this is a reality check where your sixth house matters are concerned, work and health. This Saturn will bring a test in these matters and give you a reality check, basically. So don't be too idealistic. If you have been wanting to connect with a project, or you have some passion and you are idealizing about that, or just dreaming about it and not taking action, Saturn here will help you take those actions in a very practical, disciplined way. So here, this can lead to career refinement and skill building. Great time to learn something new as well if you want to, Scorpios. Now, it's important to pay attention to your physical and mental health, definitely. So don't overwork. And if you are working long hours, it must be balanced with proper rest. Therapy can be beneficial, or any kind of mind, body, soul training, or taking care of mind, body, and spirit is very important. Sixth house is opposite to the 12th house, which is about your mental well-being. It's about rest and all that. And sixth house is very much a work-oriented house. So you are very much into work during this time as well, even obsessive about work maybe. So it's important to have that balance between your mind, body, and spirit, Scorpios. Now, work needs to be more meaningful with Neptune energy here, and also Saturn. Saturn wants you to bring meaning and character wherever it goes. So here it's important to build character and meaning in whatever work you're doing, whatever purpose you have. So let go of people-pleasing behavior or overcommitment, especially work that does not nourish your soul. Scorpios, this is very important. With Neptune energy here, you may want to do something creative as well, and this can only be achieved through discipline and practical approach, not fantasy and idealization. So definitely you need to establish new routines, or work methods as well. And it's important to assert yourself in the workplace in the correct way, in a practical way, in a purposeful way. And also work habits, needs to be balanced, and you need to organize yourself. And all this will help you stabilize your health as well if there are any issues. But it is important to have these boundaries, or not overcommit or overdo and overstress where your work life is concerned, Scorpios. So Saturn here with Neptune will help you build these foundation of long-term productivity and well-being. So overall, Scorpios, with Saturn and Neptune together in your sixth house, you are building routine that sticks. You're balancing idealism with practicality and productivity. You're releasing work or job that's draining or is distracting. And also you're committing to your overall health and well-being. Scorpios, thank you. Hello Sagittarius, welcome to your Saturn and Neptune in Aries reading. Now Sagittarius, Saturn and Neptune will be forming a conjunction in the Aries house in your chart. And this is once in a lifetime conjunction in that house. The last of this conjunction occurred in 1989. So it's been 36 years since. Now, it's a very interesting combination, Saturn and Neptune together. And if you want to know a little bit more about this, do watch my introduction where I explain the effect of this energy. Now, the conjunction of Saturn and Neptune in Aries exactly occurs at 0° Aries on the 20th of Feb. So that day, the effect is strongest, obviously. But we will experience the effect going forward as well. And also last year in 2025, when Saturn and Neptune were briefly in Aries, but then it retrograded back, we have been experiencing this energy since last year and will be this year as well, though it will be strongest in the first part of the year. But the energy is still there because Saturn and Neptune are still transiting through the sign of Aries. Saturn will be there for the next couple of years. Now, Saturn and Neptune combination, conjunction, occurs in your fifth house, Sagittarius. So that's the house that will be affected with this combination. Now, fifth house is the house of creativity. It's a house of romance, children, self-expression, personal joy, and all that. So with this combination occurring in your fifth house, this can be a very creative time, but it needs to be experienced in a structured way. So basically, your self-expression, how you express yourself, your creative expression, your passion projects, your how you interact with your children, all that needs to be grounded in reality. Any kind of illusions, if there are any, will not help with this combination in your fifth house. Now, your creative expression, your love life, your personal passion, joy are all being refined and disciplined with this combination. Now, Sagittarius, Neptune brings inspiration, imagination, and sense of idealism. And Saturn asks for structure, responsibility, and real results. Together, in your fifth house, it can turn creative ideas or creative vision into something tangible rather than just fantasizing about it. So here, if you have any passion project, or if you want to, create something, or you have any artistic aspirations or musical projects or creative project, anything, this is a great time to discipline them. And it will require discipline and patience, definitely, if you want to make anything out of it. Here, you cannot be vague or inconsistent where projects are concerned. It needs to be clarified. And also, if you are already in the middle of a creative endeavor, and it's not fulfilling, meaningful, or is draining you, or you're not connecting with it anymore, this is the time to release them or bring some changes, transformation or something, so that you can express it in a different way. Now, this is also a great time to start a long-term project with Saturn being there, and it will require perseverance, but it can manifest in real world if you are disciplined and serious during this time, Sagittarius. Now, fifth house is also the house of romance, dating, pleasure, joy, and all that. So here, your romantic ideals or vision or fantasy fantasy will be tested. Some relationship may dissolve during this time. There's a need for honesty and commitment during this time with the Neptunian energy, and Saturn needs commitment, and it does dissolve fantasy, definitely. So it is important to lead with, discipline, honesty, integrity, and inner character. Now, obviously, here it's important to love realistically. So if you're getting into a relationship, it's important to lead from a realistic point of view, but you don't need to lose your sense of joy just because Saturn energy is there, and you need to be structured and disciplined and practical and all that. You can still enjoy relationship and interactions with others without losing that sense of joy that comes with the fifth house energy, because fifth house it's a playful house. It's about being playful. So Saturn here does not eliminate that playfulness. It's just asking you to be a little bit more serious, more disciplined, and more, constant, consistent about your ideas and, whatever you are expressing here. Now, fifth house is also the house of children. So they can be pregnancy, long-awaited pregnancy as well. There can be some slight delay in pregnancy as well with the fifth house, or there may be need for responsibility, structure, and discipline around children. So if you have children already, there's a need. They may need your attention more during this time, and so you will need to be more responsible, more structured, and disciplined during this time. Now, obviously, with Saturn, the fifth house, along with Neptune, you're creating a lasting and meaningful legacy, especially where your expression is concerned. Now, all this happens in the sign of Aries. So bold self-expression, authenticity, being self-directed, self-initiating. All this is Aries characteristics. So here you're combining all that with structure, discipline, practicality, and also meaning and purpose. So here definitely the approach needs to be clear and intentional, where creativity is concerned, romance is concerned, how you engage with your children is concerned, and all that. So overall, Sagittarius, with Saturn and Neptune transiting through your fifth house and forming a very strong and rare conjunction in your fifth house, you can turn creative ideas into consistent practice, and also you can balance idealism in romance with realistic expectations and commit to projects that have long-term values and release any unrealistic or fleeting fantasies, Sagittarius. Thank you. Hello, Capricorn. Welcome to your Saturn and Neptune in Aries reading. Now, Capricorn, Saturn and Neptune will be forming a conjunction in the Aries house in your chart. And this is a once-in-a-lifetime conjunction, because the last one occurred in 1989 and it was not in the sign of Aries. And this time the conjunction occurs in the sign of Aries. Now, this is a very interesting combination of Saturn and Neptune together. And if you want to know a little bit more about it, do watch my introduction where I explain the effect of this combination. Now, the conjunction occurs at 0 degrees Aries on the 20th of Feb. But the effect of this combination was felt in 2025 because Saturn and Neptune were briefly in Aries before they retrograded. So the combination, the energy is being felt from last year. And this year as well, we will definitely experience this energy, though it will be strongest in the early part of the year, especially on the 20th of Feb when the exact conjunction occurs at 0 degree Aries. Now, 0 degree is the starting point, and Aries is the first sign of the zodiac. So this combination has a very resetting energy, especially our sense of self and our identity around that. So now again, the energy will still be felt later in the year, even though it may not be as strong as the first part of the year. But it will be there because Saturn and Neptune will still be transiting through the sign of Aries this year and next year as well. Even though the orb will widen between Saturn and Neptune, the energy is still there because it's still in the same sign. Now, all this occurs, Capricorn, for you in the fourth house. Now, fourth house is the house of your home. It's the house of your foundation, your inner security, family matters, your roots, your emotional foundation, and all that. So, with Saturn and Neptune in the fourth house, your home life, emotional foundation are all undergoing serious restructuring. Neptune here dissolves any illusions and outdated emotional patterns, showing you what has been idealized and what's unclear in your home situation, family situation, your roots, family, past patterns, home life, your emotional patterns, and all that. And Saturn here brings discipline, boundaries, and responsibility. It creates a solid and practical base. So Neptune and Saturn together will kind of dissolve will kind of dissolve your old identities, your old emotional identity, your structural, your foundational identity, and Saturn here will rebuild in a practical and disciplined way. So you're rebuilding the foundation of your life from grounds up, Capricorn, both literally in terms of a home, address, and psychologically in terms of your inner security. Family dynamic becomes intense and requires resolution. Now, old patterns of idealization or avoidance may surface. So it's important to take responsibility. And the responsibility at home will increase definitely, requiring you to be more mature, be cautious, more responsible, more practical, more disciplined going forward. Now, boundaries with family members are definitely necessary because Neptune is also transiting through your fourth house and will be for the next 14 years. So, this is a good time to build that strong base with Saturn going through your fourth house so that you can enjoy this Neptunian energy, which is very sensitive, introspective, compassionate, imaginative energy going forward. Because this is the time to release or dissolve those illusions around your emotional pattern, your emotional foundation, and all that. Now, this is also a very sensitive time, very introspective time. Now, it can also lead to confusion, heaviness, disappointment as well in home matters. So, it's very important that you're learning to stand up on your own and build your own emotional foundation and not rely on external validation or outdated habits, Capricorn. Now, with Saturn and Neptune in your fourth house, there's a possibility of home restructuring, renovations, or relocation. Neptune encourages creativity and vision in your living space, while Saturn ensures durability, practicality, and stability. So you're building a home that lasts, Capricorn. Now, there may have been some confusion or unstable foundation last year, and even early this year, you may be experiencing kind of instability in foundation in your home, your living situation, and all that. Now, with this Saturn combination, it's important to be more practical and disciplined about building your security, building your stability going forward. Now, fourth house is also the house of your roots, your foundation, your parents, ancestry, and all that, your birthplace, and all that. So, again, here you're asserting your independence because it is an Aries house. So, you're asserting your independence in your personal life. You may be taking bold steps to start new routine and also claim personal space. Fourth house is about creating a sanctuary. It's about your personal space, your home, where you feel comfortable, where you feel safe, Capricorn. So here it's important to heal old emotional patterns and take small but deliberate actions that have long-term effects on your sense of security. Home and foundation feels more stable and authentic if you are, taking grounded action and, practical actions, basically. Now, your home and family life also will feel grounded at the end of the transit, though there may be challenges at the beginning. and confusion as well. So it's important to be more mature when handling family relationships and also your home matters. Also, this will help you build emotional resilience, because Saturn helps you, bring that discipline through challenges and obstacles. So you're building inner stability that will support the rest of your life, basically. So, overall, Capricorn, with Saturn and Neptune in your fourth house, you're facing family responsibility and emotional patterns head on. You are building routines and structure that support emotional stability, and you're releasing any illusions or fantasy about your home situation, family situation, security, and all that, and also creating a safe and supportive personal environment going forward, Capricorns. Thank you. Hello, Aquarius. Welcome to your Saturn and Neptune and Aries reading. Now, Aquarius, Saturn and Neptune will be forming a conjunction, and this is once in a lifetime conjunction. Last one occurred in 1989, and it's once in a lifetime in the sign of Aries and in your Aries house. So it's a rare conjunction, doesn't occur often. Now it's a very interesting combination, Saturn and Neptune together. So if you want to know a little bit more about it, do watch my introduction where I explain the effect of this combination. Now, this conjunction occurs at 0° Aries on the 20th of Feb. Now 0° is a starting point and Aries is the first sign of the zodiac, so it's a powerful reset in terms of identity, and wherever your Aries sign sits in your chart. For you, Aquarius, it's your third house. So third house is where this powerful reset occurs. Now, obviously, in 2025, Saturn and Neptune were briefly in Aries, but then they retrograded back. Now, again, in 26, the start of it, at the start of the year, it's forming a conjunction, but the effect of it will be felt rest of the year as well. Even though the conjunction is not that strong, the combination is still there, meaning Saturn and Neptune still are together in the sign of Aries this year and next year as well. But obviously, the orb of influence between the two planets will widen, will expand, so it won't be as strong as it is in the first part of 2026, but it still will be there. Now, all this occurs in your third house, so third house matters will be affected by this conjunction. Now, third house is a house of communication and connection. So, your communication, your learning needs, siblings, neighborhood, daily interaction, all that is affected. This is a very mental and communication related recalibration, Aquarius. Here, you are blending discipline with imagination. Your mind and communication style are being refined. Now, Neptune dissolves old thought patterns in third house. So, your mindset, your outlook, how you communicate, how you think, how you share ideas, and all that, all that is going through a dissolution, especially if they are outdated. So, any misconception or unrealistic expectation or the way you communicate is going through changes, is dissolving. Now, Neptune can bring mental confusion here, definitely, because it blurs the boundary. Neptune blurs the boundary wherever it goes. So it can bring mental chaos, lack of clarity, and all that. But Saturn is also moving through here. So Saturn brings structure, it brings maturity, and discipline. So Saturn in your third house will impose structures, will bring clarity, will ask you to take responsibility of your communication and how you connect, and also teach you to communicate effectively and purposefully. Now, Saturn Neptune combination together is all about communicating with responsibility and purpose, Aquarius. Now, this is a great time to share ideas as well, because Neptune brings that imagination, that creative input. So this is a great time to, if you want to, learn, communicate, share ideas, this is a great time to start those projects. You can turn inspired ideas into practical and actionable plans going forward. Now, third house is also the house of learning. You could be learning new languages. You could be learning something new, especially short-term courses. Third house is more the house of short-term courses rather than study programs, degrees, and all that, which is more of a ninth house matter. So here you could be learning, gaining knowledge, reading more, sharing more as well. So definitely here you could be committing to study program or skill building. You could be building skills during this time, and your old mental habits may fade away. So the old way of thinking basically and communicating, your outlook, mindset, and all that may fade away, or there's a need to fade away. Now communication becomes more disciplined and impactful, and creative ideas need structure and follow through as well, because visions will manifest only through discipline, practicality, and all grounded in reality, Aquarius. So here, relationship with peers, neighbors, siblings require attention. Misunderstandings or illusions in communication can occur with Neptune here. Now, boundaries and accountability in interaction are very necessary, because Neptune can blur these boundaries, but Saturn will help you take accountability and build these boundaries. Now, third house is also the house of short-term trips, and with Saturn and Neptune here, these short-term trips are more purposeful, more meaningful now. Daily routines need restructuring to support clarity of thought and communication. So how you go about in daily life, how you communicate, how you interact with your environment and all that needs to be more purposeful, more meaningful, more structured, more practical. And with Saturn here, you may also communicate less, or there may be some sort of restriction as well in the way you communicate or your need to communicate, Aquarius. So learning and communication are intentional and disciplined, not scattered. So speak your truth with confidence, Aquarius. Now with this combination, your thinking going forward will be more disciplined and visionary, and relationship with others become more authentic. Now, obviously, Saturn brings obstacles and challenges as well here. So this may start with some sort of challenges or confusion, and as the transit progresses, you're required to build discipline and, confidence, and, take more accountability and responsibility as you speak to others, Aquarius. Now, ideas conceived now can also lead to long-term success. So this is a very good combination for long-term projects that you want to start, or any business agreements, or even interviews. If you're giving interviews during this time, it's important to be more practical and more grounded with your communication, and whatever you're sharing, and whatever ideas you are imparting and all that. So overall, Aquarius, Saturn and Neptune together in third house asks you to clarify thoughts before speaking or acting on it. And also you can commit to learning, writing, or teaching practices during this time. It's important to set boundaries in communication as well. So think before you speak, basically, and transform inspired ideas into practical action. This is really great. So you can convert your vision ideas into practical projects and all that. Now all this is occurring in the Aries house, so you're using courage and initiative as well, but it's important to stay grounded and not be impulsive and reactive during this time. And all this will help you broaden your mindset and have that purposeful life direction going forward, Aquarius. Thank you. Hello Pisces, welcome to your Saturn and Neptune in Aries reading. Now Pisces, Saturn and Neptune will be forming a conjunction. This is once in a lifetime conjunction in the sign of Aries. The last one occurred in 1989. The combination occurred in 1989. This time it's in the sign of Aries, so your Aries house is affected. Now, this is a very interesting combination, Saturn and Neptune together. And if you want to know a little bit more about this, do watch my introduction where I explain the combined energy of Saturn and Neptune. Now, this conjunction occurs on the 20th of Feb at 0 degree Aries. Now, 0 degree is the starting point, and Aries is the first sign of the zodiac. So this combination has a very powerful resetting energy, and it all happens wherever your Aries sign sits, which is second house for you, Pisces. Now, in 2025, Saturn and Neptune were briefly in Aries when they retrograded back. So we have been experiencing the energy since last year. Now, this year, obviously, it's strongest in the first part of the year, but the combination is still there rest of the year and even next year. So you will experience this energy this year, but it's strongest at the beginning of the year, definitely. Now, obviously, as the year progresses, the orb of influence between Saturn and Neptune will widen, so the effect will not be as strong as it is in the first part of the year. But again, as it's in the same sign and moving through your same house, you will definitely still feel the effect of this energy. Now, all this occurs in your second house, Pisces. Now, second house is the house of personal values, the house of finances, self-worth, material security, and all that. So here, your vision meets reality with Saturn and Neptune together. So your money and resources, so your vision around your money and resources need to be met with reality in order to, use this transit in an effective way. Now, finances, values, and your sense of worth are all being tested, and there's a need to bring clarity and structure where these are concerned. Now, Neptune will dissolve illusions around money, possessions, and what truly matters, Pisces. And Saturn here enforces discipline, responsibility, and practicality. So the question here you're asking is, what is real and what is imagined? So what is reality and what is fantasy? Now, Saturn and Neptune together in your second house will expose any unrealistic money ideas or risky investments. So you may need a budget plan, definitely, and you may need to restructure your income sources, your savings, how you spend your money, how you earn your money, how you sustain yourself, and all that. Now, hard work will definitely be rewarded because Saturn is there. So if you're working hard, definitely this is positive influence of Saturn there. So just be mindful of not taking shortcuts, because shortcuts may lead to some financial upheaval. Now, this combination here is all about building lasting financial stability, not quick gains, Pisces. Your inner value may shift because it is the second house. Second house is the house of your personal value, your self-worth, your worthiness and your self-worth and all that. So inner values will transform, and what you once thought mattered may no longer feel important going forward, Pisces. Now, Neptune here aligns resources with purpose, while Saturn teaches self-discipline and self-respect and how to value yourself realistically, not through external validation. So that's what you're doing here. You're building this self-respect and inner value realistically and through self-discipline and in a practical and grounded way. Now, you may take bold steps as well to secure financial independence because it is an Aries house, so it's a very self-oriented sign. So here, you will be taking bold steps to secure material stability, material security. You may start new income streams or personal projects, or assert your value in professional or personal interaction. So you will definitely be very guided by financial stability and security in your personal and professional interaction. Now, it's important to take deliberate action that can create long-term financial and personal stability as well. So it's not just about imagining and dreaming about financial stability. It's about taking disciplined and practical actions as well. Now, financial material foundation feel more secure and realistic with the Saturn energy and will feel definitely going forward. Now, obviously, Saturn does bring challenges and obstacles. So it may start with challenges and obstacles, but eventually you will get there, Pisces. So it's important to be more grounded and purposeful where your finances and your sense of self-worth is concerned and how you sustain yourself and all that. Now, your value, your sense of self-worth needs to be internalized. Now, self-worth will bring a sense of independence as well, and you may not be seeking much outward validation going forward. Now, with this combination in your second house, Pisces, you are ready to pursue long-term ambitions from a grounded state, because Saturn brings that need to be grounded. So you're turning fantasy and idealism into tangible value going forward. So, Pisces, overall, with Saturn and Neptune in your second house, there's a need to review finances and your spending habits. You need to be very careful with how you're spending, what you're spending on, and there's a need to align money resources with long-term goals and values. Also, release unrealistic material or self-worth illusions. Take practical steps to increase security and use initiative and courage, but do remain disciplined and practical, Pisces. Thank you.